I mention this a lot whenever I start my videos that occasionally we just need to do something fun. And talking about politics all the time, talking about the culture all the time, and talking about all of the horrible situations going on throughout the world, it can be kind of a downer. It can be pretty discouraging. So every once in a while, we need to break away from all of that and just talk about something fun. Just talk about something that I enjoy for the sake of enjoying it. Don't have to worry about talking about politics. See, and here's the thing. Here's the thing about talking about sports or movies or TV. In politics, generally speaking, it matters if you're right. It matters that your information is 100% accurate. All of that plays into talking about politics and talking about the culture and forming arguments and all of those different things. If we're talking about sports, if we're talking about movies, then I can just have whatever opinion that I have off the top of my head. Doesn't really matter. It can be just off the cuff, a little bit more off the cuff. And so it makes it easier to talk about because it requires, kudos to all the people that make a living off of talk about football and that could obviously run circles around me in terms of football content. But I don't feel like I have to think that much. If somebody said, "Hey, we're going to talk about Star Wars," I could just sit here and talk about Star Wars for half an hour. And I've done that before. I've done that before. I think I did a ranking of all the Star Wars movies and just talked about it for like 40 minutes. And I hardly had anything written down. Why? Just because it's just all stuff off the cuff. And so I feel like that's good to do that every once in a while. I feel like it's a good change of pace so we can get away from all of the craziness and talk about something just for purely enjoyment, not necessarily just information. And so today it's just all going to be about football. All I'm talking about is the NFL today. And I wanted to start off by talking about a couple things that really annoy me about, and this could also be partially about college as well, but it's mostly what I see from the NFL because that's primarily what I watch. I don't watch a lot of college football anymore. And the first thing that I would like to say is that I feel like they need to change the ruling of illegal block in the back. And I feel like it happens way too often. And if you broke down every single kickoff play or every single punt, then you could probably find some form of illegal blocking in the back. Almost every single play. It's like if you looked closely and watched the entire game in slow motion, you could probably find somebody holding on every single play. Now, obviously, it would be counterproductive to call holding on every single play or every single time you saw it. But in the case of illegal block in the back, I feel like it happens way too often. And just the way that the play is formatted, you have you have the kicking team kicking in this direction. And so everybody who's trying to make the tackle is running in this direction. Everybody who is trying to block is also running the same direction until the runner gets past them and then they have to change direction. The kicking team pulls back and tries to change direction. Well, of course, the guy's right on their hip. Of course, he's going to be like right on their back. He's going to be right on their hip trying to stop them from making the tackle. And so it makes it very hard to not block on the back. It's just the nature of the play, the way that the players move. It is it is very hard to avoid that. And I don't necessarily have a problem with it being a penalty, but I think it takes away. Think about how rare amazing special teams plays are. People have good returns, people have great plays, and they put their teams in good field positions. But when you're talking about touchdowns, I feel like it happens way too often where a touchdown is called back because of an illegal block in the back. And I'm fine with there being a penalty for that. But I don't necessarily think that the penalty should be applied by taking the points off the board. Special teams touchdowns happen rarely enough. We don't need 6 points taken off the board by from a guy, some guy that hardly ever scores a touchdown because all he does is play special teams and he doesn't get to handle the ball that much. He scores a touchdown, gets called back for legal block at the back. I just don't think that that's very exciting. I think it happens way too often. I think what they should do, and this is probably not this is probably not the best opinion, but what they should do is they should apply the penalty either to the field goal or to the kickoff slash field position of the opposing team. So illegal block in the back is committed. They don't necessarily take the points off the board. They scoot back the field goal, they scoot back the extra point, or they give the receiving team, the team who gave up the touchdown, more yardage in their favor when they get the ball back. I think that would be much more entertaining. You don't have to take the points off the board. You don't have to erase the significance of a rare play because special teams plays, like I said, they're kind of rare. Special teams touchdowns are kind of rare, and they can be a huge morale booster. You can swing the tide of a game. And I think it kind of ruins it when those type of rare plays are instantly dismantled and wiped away by an illegal block in the back call. I think at least for the first time offense, okay? First time offense, somebody illegal block in the back, it's applied to the field goal. The penalty yardage is applied to the field goal or the field position of the receiving team afterwards. Second time offense, sure. If it happens twice in a game, take away the 7 points, take away the 6 points. That's fine because you can't just let a team get away with it over and over again. Otherwise, Otherwise, everybody would be doing it all the time. But if some random one player is blocking in the back and it takes away a touchdown, I just don't really care. I don't really care. I want to see the guy take it to the house. Don't call that back. Don't change the swing of the game because of an illegal block of the back call. There's other ways to apply the penalty, at least for the first time offense. Okay, so that's the first thing. I get tired of seeing it. I think too many significant special teams plays are taken out because of illegal blocking in the back call, which you could literally call every single punt, every single kickoff. The second thing, and this one annoys me more than the illegal blocking in the back, is the overprotection of the quarterbacks. And in 2025, the NFL is definitely different. Quarterbacks, the way they play generally is different. And it has become more of an offensive league. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that. And to the general person who just kind of casually watches football, they're probably looking at it as like, yeah, it's like I like dynamic offenses and I like players who score a bunch of touchdowns and teams that score a bunch of points. It's kind of like watching the Warriors, right? It's just a nonstop barrage of 3 pointers and they're just going to be blowing people out. And it's like, okay, I can see the appeal of that to a casual fan. But my problem is I don't really have a problem with dynamic offenses. I have a problem with defenses. Defenses have just kind of been neutered, honestly, because it used to be that you could punish the offense. And don't get me wrong, there are some good defenses in the league. There are some dominant defenses in the league. And you definitely can't win consistently without a solid defense. It's an important part of the game. It's still an important part of the game. But there's a difference between having a good defense, a serviceable defense, and then punishing the offense. And I think some of these players, some of these quarterbacks specifically, that take advantage of the soft rules, they know that the hands of the defense are tied and they take advantage of it. And I think that we should go back. I want to go back to a point where you can just punish some of these offensive players because I think that's what needs to happen. And back 20 years ago, you could do that. You punish the wide receivers, you punish the quarterback. They step out of the box, they step out from behind the offensive line. It is your job to destroy them. And I would like to bring a little bit of that back because I think that things have just gone way too far in the other direction. We've gone way too far in protecting the quarterbacks. And you would hear Tom Brady talk about this. He would say back when they would play the Ravens, back when it was Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, there's just some things you didn't do. There's just some things you didn't do. You did not throw the ball to the middle of the field with your slot receiver there, knowing that Ray Lewis was going to be there to meet whoever that was. They would call it a hospital ball. You knew if you hang your wide receiver out to dry and you throw him a a pass that makes him exposed or vulnerable, whatever linebacker 20 years ago is sitting there in the middle of the field is going to rip him in half. And so you just did not throw it. You didn't even try it. You don't do that to your wide receiver. You don't do that to your own players. And that's the impact of having a dominant defense. That's the impact of having a defense that is capable of punishing offensive players. And so, yes, you can respect a defense now, but I don't really know if you can fear individual defensive players or fear defensive units because they can't punish anybody anymore. And specifically when you're talking about the quarterbacks, I kind of roll my eyes because I think, don't get me wrong, quarterbacks generally now are much more athletic than quarterbacks 10, 20 years ago. You have to be able to move, you have to be able to run for the most part. Maybe not as fast as some of these wide receivers. There's only a handful of quarterbacks in the NFL that can really do that. But you have to be able to move a little bit. You have to be able to create with your legs to an extent. And I get all that. Like that, all of that's fine. But I do think that the how dynamic these quarterbacks are has been inflated a little bit. The praise that they get for being mobile is inflated a little bit because they never have to suffer the consequences of being mobile quarterbacks. And all of these fans and all of these announcers, they're just all salivating over how mobile players like Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes and some of these other guys like Kyler Murray or Justin Herbert or Josh Allen. And they're just always like, wow, just what a complete player. Look how complete they are as a player. Look, they're just so good. Not only can they throw, but they can also use their leg. It's just the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Everybody's just like, oh my gosh. It's like it's hard for me to be as impressed as some of these other people are because I know that they can just basically get away with whatever they want. It doesn't matter. And they game the system. They take advantage of the system. And we've seen it where Patrick Mahomes will act like he's going to run out of bounds and then he just cuts it upfield and gets 5 more yards, 6 more yards, 7 more yards because the defensive players are trained. It's not worth getting fined. It's not worth getting tossed out of the game. It's not worth being labeled a dirty player. And it completely throws off the dynamics of the game because now the quarterbacks basically just has everybody in the palm of their hand. They know they can't be touched. They know it and they take advantage of it. They take advantage of it as much as they can. And I just get sick and tired of playing it because it's not really fair. I understand that quarterbacks have always been treated a little bit differently. And also in the same case as the kicker gets to play by special rules because of the position that he holds. He's a specialist. He comes on the field, you don't hit the kicker unless you're making a play on the ball. Okay. Don't want to get a penalty, don't want to hurt the guy because you could land on his knee and then boom, his career's over. Whatever. And so quarterbacks have always kind of played by different rules, but I think it's gone too far. And it doesn't really seem fair to me when they are protected so much. They're protected so much more than all these other players. You expect all of your wide receivers to lay out and put themselves at risk to catch these passes. You expect your running back to run through the middle of the offensive and defensive line, and then some 275-pound lineman grabs their leg while another 275-pound lineman comes and tackles them to the ground, and you have three people landing on top of them. There's like, well, that's just part of it. That's just part of the job. And then the quarterbacks, it's like, oh, he bumped into him. He bumped into him without taking by what is it, 3 steps? 3 steps. You can only take 3 steps if you, oh, he took more than 3 steps and bumped into the quarterback. What a horrible guy he is. Well, we must fine him. Well, that's definitely a penalty. He must be a dirty player. He must be gunning for the quarterback. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. And these quarterbacks take advantage of it. Patrick Mahomes cutting the ball upfield, and all of these quarterbacks, it just seems like the ones that like to run and they get outside the pocket, they run for a first down. they get outside the pocket, they run for a first down, and they know that these defensive players can't touch them, and they wait to for the last second, the last possible second to slide. The last possible second. They do it almost every time. And they say, how about instead of giving myself up and sliding 3 yards earlier, I'm going to wait till the last possible second because not only do I get the 3 extra yards, there's a decent chance that this guy might hit me in, kind of the wrong way, and then he's going to get a penalty on top of it. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And not everybody has, sorry, it's like in the NFL, not everybody has the luxury of being able to slide and giving themselves up in the middle of the play. If a running back would do that, then they would be like, what are you doing? You're going to get as much, you're going to not take the contact? You're going to whine and cry about there being a flag? You're going to be whine and cry about unnecessary roughness? No, you just take the hits and you get as many yards as you can. And it's not fair to ask these defensive players to jump through all of these hoops in order to play their position because these guys are moving extremely fast. These are some of the best athletes in the world. And if you're a quarterback that's always waiting to the last possible second to slide, you deserve to get hit. I don't care. You deserve it. You want to take advantage of the rules, you're going to try and siphon every single yard out of every single play every single time, put yourself at risk. You deserve to get hit. And the quarterback starts to slide. So the safety or the cornerback comes up to make the play. He's like 10 yards out. And the quarterback's just like, well, I guess we'll just get 5 more yards. And he waits till the defensive player's like 5 yards out. Then he decides to slide. Well, the defensive player, the safety, has already committed to making the play. He has already committed to making the tackle. And so you're going to ask this 190-pound athlete that has elite, supreme speed. So these are some of the fastest guys in the entire league. You're going to ask him to stop when he's 5 yards out. You're going to ask him to stop on a dime. You're going to ask him to pull up or to try and completely avoid him. How is that even remotely fair? How is it possible? And then even if he tries to pull up and his elbow grazes a helmet, it's like, oh, he's a dirty player. He's gunning for the quarterback. He's just trying to take him out. He's a bad guy. I don't really care. I don't really care. And I understand that this probably isn't the best example, but I just remember when I played basketball in high school, and one of the things that they did was they taught you how to fall. They taught you how to take a hit. And I understand that basketball is different than football. It's not nearly as physical, but it can be a very physical game. And they taught you how to fall. Hey, if you're going to hit the ground, this is what you do. This is how you don't land on your arm. This is how you don't smack your head on the basketball court and get a concussion. And these guys that have been playing football, these guys in the NFL, they've been playing football since they were like 5 years old. And so you learn over time. Does it always keep you from being injured? No, but you learn over time how to fall and how to take a hit in a way that's not going to end your career instantly. You get me out there. I don't know how to like contort my body, and I'm not in as good of a shape as those guys are. And so, yeah, my leg would get broken half and my arm would be pointing backwards and all these other things. But these guys, they're kind of used to it. They understand how to take a hit. Well, sometimes I think these quarterbacks actually make it worse on themselves by sliding. And there are sometimes I'm just watching these guys, they're trying as hard as they can to hit the ground. I'm like, just take the hit, man. Just take the hit, let the guy grab you and wrap you up and just go down. You don't have to slide. You know why? Because again, they wait till the last possible second. And so if I'm a quarterback and I'm running and I'm like 6'4", okay, I'm obviously up here. My head's up here, okay? And then you have this defensive player closing in. He's closing in, getting ready to make the tackle. I see him coming, and I decide to slide. Well, if I don't slide early enough and the defensive player is already committed to making the play, and I start to slide And he's lowered his shoulder, right? This guy's lowered his shoulder at an upright target. And so if the defensive back lowers his shoulder, trying to take out a guy that's standing straight up, running, his shoulder is going to go like right here. His shoulder is going to go in like the thigh area, or it's going to go like mid level, or it's going to go in the chest, right? Well, if I slide and I start to go down, guess where my head is? It's right where that guy's shoulder is going. And that's not the fault of the defensive player. That's the fault of the quarterback for not sliding earlier. And but yeah, it's the defensive player that gets punished. It's the defensive player. I don't, I think sliding is probably the best thing to do in most scenarios. But if you're going to play this game of waiting to the last possible second, getting every single yard that you can, it's going to come back to bite you in the rear end. It just is. And I don't think it's fair for these guys to be labeled dirty players and should get fined and thrown out of the game and all these different things, because the quarterback should know better. And every time they get up, the offensive linemen come running. They're like, "Where's the flag, ref? Where's the flag?" The quarterback gets up and he's like, "Where's the flag? You don't deserve any flag." And it just makes me sick. I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing it. And I do think it makes it unfair. It makes it unfair because these quarterbacks, they never get taught the lesson. They never get punished for playing the way that they play. And let's think about it this way. Week 4, Patrick Mahomes playing the Denver Broncos, okay? And Patrick Mahomes is not the fastest guy, but in certain situations, he has great awareness and he is situationally adequate as a runner. 4th and 3, game on the line, the drive has to continue. He's going to get it. Must-win game, divisional game, got to have it. 4th and 3, he's going to run for it if he has to. Okay? And kudos to him. Like, sure, got to win the game, right? It's about winning. But the thing is that, think about it. Patrick Mahomes, Denver Broncos, week 4, division matchup. Well, if he steps out of the pocket and he goes and tries to pick up this 3rd down, 4th down that really matters, and he gets annihilated, he's going to remember that for the rest of the season. And his coaches will remind him of that for the rest of the season. So when you get week 16, week 17, playoff spots on the line, he's playing the Patriots for a wild card spot. He's playing the Colts, like this year, playing the Colts for the number 1 seed. I don't know if they actually play the Colts this year, but I'm just saying, in a scenario, week 16, week 17, 4th and 3, 3rd and 5, got to have it. Drive has to continue. Playoff spot on the line. And he drops back and he sees an opening and he goes to run. He's going to go, "Oh, wait a minute. Last time I did this, I got destroyed. So maybe I won't do that." It keeps him honest. It keeps the quarterbacks honest. But because they never properly get punished for running all over the place, they never have to second guess themselves. They know that the rules are on their side. They know that the defensive players are taught not to engage. They know that they have 95% of the advantages by running. And so there's no reason for them not to run. They've been taught to run. They've been taught to take advantage of all of it. And so I wouldn't mind, and it is different for different quarterbacks. These guys like Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson, they could just run all over the place, and they're so athletic and they're so fast that they can avoid more than the average quarterback can. But for some of these mid-tier athletic guys that like to take advantage of the system, and they try to get every single yard and they never get punished and they never just get obliterated, I think it would be good for every single one of these quarterbacks to just get destroyed twice a year. Like, I would laugh so hard. I would laugh so hard. You just see these guys like Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, they just get obliterated. And I think it would teach them a valuable lesson, and it would even things out a little bit. Now the defense has established themselves as somebody who isn't afraid to take the punishment, right? Is it a little late? Maybe it's a little bit fishy of a hit. I don't really care, because they just need to get plastered every once in a while. They need to be just absolutely destroyed every, 2 or 3 times a year. And you go back and you watch some of these old clips, and there's this famous YouTube video. It's of the hardest football hits ever. And if you are a football fan, you've probably seen this video. I think it's like a 10-minute video, and it's the song that plays in the background is Here Comes the Boom. And the Here Comes the Boom part is lined up perfectly with every single hit in the video. Like it's like an all-time great video. Every football fan has seen this video. You know what I'm talking about if you like football. And there's videos of just look how they treated these quarterbacks back 10, 20 years ago. Oh, you want to get out and run? Oh, you think you're going to get the best of us? Oh, you think you could take advantage of the rules? No, you're going to get cut in half. And that's kind of what they deserve, to be completely honest. And there's one specific hit in that video. It's in the Pro Bowl, back when they actually played a Pro Bowl game, back when it actually mattered a little bit. There's a video in the Pro Bowl. The quarterback gets out the run, and the guy comes up and just like kills him. It's like, yes, that's exactly what they deserve. They're going to take advantage. They're going to run all over the place, and all of these announcers just like, wow, just what a great athlete. Just they're so amazing. That's what those guys. They just need to be. They just need to be they just need to be hit and hit hard multiple times a year. And I think it would restore the balance, so to speak. And that's actually one of the reasons I am kind of a casual fan of the NFL. I from Indiana, so you got to root for the Colts, and we've had some really high highs with Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. We also had some pretty low lows over the last 5, 6 years, really since Andrew Luck retired. And so Colts are doing really good. So it's good to be a Colts fan. It's good to root for your home team. But generally speaking, I've kind of just been a casual fan of the NFL. And so I really haven't had a favorite player probably since Andrew Luck retired. But one of my favorite players is Cam Skattebo. He played for Arizona State. He's a rookie, plays for the New York Giants. And this kind of goes back to what I was talking about with the overprotecting the quarterback and the lack of physicality. You're not allowed to be as physical as you used to be with the quarterback. But with Cam Skattebo, he's just this guy. He's just this insane guy, and he goes out of his way to run into people. It's like he's got. It's like he wants to hit as many people as he can. Like if he gets a touchdown, it's worth 6 points. But in his mind, for every single person that he can lay out along the way, it's like an extra point to him. And in a league where, like I was saying, is overprotected of the quarterback and it lacks physicality, you really can't punish anybody anymore. That's a little bit refreshing. No, this guy loves contact. He's not trying to avoid it. He's not scared of it. He's not trying to game the system. And he's an offensive player. He's an offensive player that is extremely physical. And you can already find the memes and the videos and the highlights I've found of Cam Skattebo just bulldozing people. It's amazing. I love it. He is my favorite player. I have him on my fantasy team. Love that guy. And he's kind of just this crazy guy who it just seems out of his mind. He just seems out of his mind, but it's fun to watch because it's good to see like he's a rookie. I think Jackson Dart's a rookie as well. And so he's kind of like the hype man. He's the crazy guy on the sideline. It's like Rob Gronkowski for the Patriots. It's like Bill Belichick's over there like, "Nah," and Tom Brady is just like dead-eyed, shark eyes, nothing matters but winning. And then you have Gronkowski over there. He's just like, yeah, let's go. Just a crazy guy. Just an insane dude with a lot of energy, and it's fun to watch. Insane dude with a lot of energy, fun to watch, extremely physical, and just seems to play out of his mind. And he's probably my favorite player right now. As for the Colts, I was talking to somebody earlier today, and it was just saying that it doesn't seem like the Colts have a truly great, like all-time great superstar player. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is really good, and he is playing as far as running backs go. He's playing at a top level, close to the top level in the league. Arguably, maybe you could say that he's played the best so far this year as running back. but they don't really have they have a lot of good players. They don't necessarily have all-time great superstar players, but they have a lot of great players. And there's a part of me that is afraid that they are just simply the AFC version of maybe the Vikings from last year, or different teams that surprise you and then just get wiped out early on in the playoffs. I hope that's not them. It could be them. I don't know. But it's just good. I like the story of Daniel Jones. Really, a lot of these stories with Baker Mayfield and Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold getting second chances. I like that. I like to see people like that succeed, especially when they were kind of discounted and people they got out of bad situations and now they're with organizations or teams that actually appreciate them and what they can do, and then they're kind of thriving, right? And that goes for Daniel Jones right now with the Colts. And so I'm not a huge fan of, hey, let's throw the old, super old, but yet experienced quarterback in there as a band-aid. I just don't think it works. It really doesn't. I mean, you could go back and watch Brett Favre, like everybody like Brett Favre, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers with the Steelers, Philip Rivers with the Colts. It's entertaining and it's interesting as a story. It's like, wow, we signed Philip Rivers, but it just doesn't. It's very hard to get over the hump with those kind of guys. And so I don't know if Daniel Jones is. I mean, right now he's played like a franchise quarterback, so I don't know if that's really who he is, and if that's the Colts' long-term plan. I mean, it probably has to be if he continues to play like this. But I do think it's better than having some of these old guys come in and just kind of fill the position until you actually find somebody that you want. You feel so much better about your organization, whichever organization you're cheering for, whichever team you're cheering for. It feels so much better to have young people in the building, right? Because that means you kind of have a future. You're not, you don't have retirement and all these other things looming. It's like, oh yeah, we've got Daniel Jones, we've got young players. We've got young quarterback. We've got Jackson Dart. We've got Cam Skattebo, who hopefully will be here for at least both of them, maybe for the next at least 5 to 8 years together. And Malik Neighbors, who unfortunately got hurt, but you have like a core of young players that maybe they're not that good right now, and maybe they need a lot more experience and a lot more reps and all those different things. But at least you have a future. And you look around the league and some of these teams just they don't have any future whatsoever. Even with some of their young players, it's just a mess, just complete disaster. And thankfully the Colts have always kind of just been, at least ever since Peyton Manning has gotten there, they've been a they haven't always been the best organization, but they're definitely not like the Jets, just consistently, and the Browns just consistently bad year after year. It doesn't matter who they draft or what they do or who their head coach is, it's just always trash. The Colts can always seem to dig themselves out of a hole. And as somebody who is a Colts fan, you don't necessarily have to. Have there been some bad years? Yes. Have there been back-to-back bad years? Sure. But the Colts are not the type of organization. They've demonstrated that over the last 25, 30 years, they're not necessarily the organization that is like, are we just getting ready to go on an 8 to 10 year run where we're just going to suck and be drafting top 10 every single year? The Colts aren't like that. And I respect that they're not necessarily the ones. Have they tanked? Yes, they like suck for luck so they could draft Andrew Luck. Have they done that? Yes. But it was never meant to be this consistent thing like you see, like I said, with the Jets and the Browns and the Panthers. It just seems like they're always tanking. Just seems like they're always behind the eight ball. Just seems like they always suck. And so being a Colts fan isn't that bad. Being a Colts fan isn't that bad. And are we always the best? Usually never. Hardly ever. But are we the worst? Are we an embarrassment? Are we a laughing stock? No. And so I can respect being a Colts fan. I think that's respectable.